There's something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there telling me I got to beware. I think it's time to stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Battle lines being drawn. Nobody's right if everybody's wrong. Young people speaking their minds, getting so much resistance from behind. Gotta stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. What a field day for the heat. 1,000 people in the street, singing songs they carry inside. Mostly say hooray for our side. It's time to stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Paranoid, sex, deep, criteria into your life, it will creep. It starts when you're always afraid. Step out of line, the man comes and take you away. And stop, hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Stop, hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Stop. What's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Stop it, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. That was written in 1968 or somewhere in there, and it still holds true.
Still holds true. Absolutely. Second shot, everybody. Rick Poole, Vin Smith, and Frank Seeberger. So we are back. We are doing the basic principles of the science of mind because this philosophy changes people's lives. It certainly has changed mine. I know that for many of you it has changed yours, and it's important for us to remember because I think, I don't know about you, so I'm just going to speak for myself. I get complacent. And I start to think, oh, you know, it works. You know, I don't have to do anything. The beauty of this philosophy is, yes, it works and it's working all the time. However, if you're not conscious, it's still working. And so it's important that we do engage with this. I want to read you a poem called The Wage by Jessie B. Rittenhouse. I bargained with life for a penny, and life would pay no more. However, I begged at evening when I counted my scanty store. For life is just an employer. He gives you what you ask. But once you have set the wages, why you must bear the task. I worked for a menial's hire, only to learn dismayed that any wage I had asked for, life would have paid. Ernest Holmes says life flows into everything, through everything. It passes into every human event and translates itself through every human act. If you learn to think of life as flowing through every action, you will soon discover that the things you give your attention to are quickened with new energy, for you are breathing the very essence of being into them. So that is the focus of intention. And so rather than stand up here and talk about the focus of intention, because I think y'all get it, right? Y'all get that where you put your intention, or your attention, that's going to come back to you. The I am. Intention, attention equals manifestation. I am. And so I'm going to talk to you about the importance of what you're caring for. And what if we really thought about changing our thinking, because then not only would we change our lives, we would start to change the lives of the people around us just by being the best version of ourselves. And so the first thing I want to talk to you about is caring for your happiness. A lot of us, or me, especially I will say for anybody, we've got practitioners in here, we've got school teachers in here, we have people that are in service-oriented positions in their life. And the thing is, that is a type of calling when you're in service. And what happens when you're in service is you forget about your own happiness sometimes. You are so busy making sure that everybody else is happy that you forget about your own happiness. And so what if you truly cared about your happiness? What would that look like? And I can't tell you what that would look like for you. I have no idea. I only know what it looks like for me. And I think happiness and joy, so I should really say your joy. Because happiness and joy to me are a little different. Happiness is something that I can have lunch with a friend and that can make me happy. I can win the lottery and that would make me really happy. Of course, I have to play first, but you know. However, joy is that inner sense of being. That even when you're by yourself, you can be joyful. And what makes you joyful? And I have shared with you what I've found, what brings me back to my center, what makes me feel truly connected is being at the ocean. It's why I'm moving there. It's because what I understand is my joy, and Paul and I have talked about this a lot. We are people who are attracted to a sense of place, and not everybody is, and that's okay. But a sense of place means a lot to us. And so this morning, as everybody knows, because I glean different pieces of what I want to share with you from CBS Sunday Morning, I wish they would record it a little bit earlier because I don't get to watch the whole show before I get here. But they talked this morning about Toledo, Ohio. And evidently, Toledo, Ohio gets a bad rap. And the woman who was in the interview, she said, we get a bad rap even in Ohio, let alone in the United States. And I guess John Denver even wrote a song about being in Toledo, and he wasn't happy about being there. But 3 ladies were on a riverboat trip, and they were having a great time, and it was perfect. And as they were sailing down the river, they drove by this monstrosity of silos. And they were like, well, that spoils our happy time view. You have to look at this. You know, have you ever seen manufacturing buildings on the river? They used to have them in Portland, if you're old enough to remember, before Portland got rid of them and made that amazing park. And the park is named after the governor that made that happen. So, but they still have these silos, and evidently taking them down was not an option. And so they got together and thought, we need to do something about that. And they came up with the idea of, let's paint them. And so they raised the money, and people not only in Toledo, probably not even in Ohio, people from all over donated money for this to happen. So that when people sail down the river, they can look, and instead of seeing this gray, not pretty building in the eyes of most, now they see a building that has been painted this bright blue, and in the center are 3 indigenous people of the region that were the original farmers in this area. And then on every other silo next to that are sunflowers, because evidently sunflowers are prominent in the Midwest. I did not know that. But that's the kind of, that made those women happy and joyful. Because now when they take that river trip, they look out, and it's not even complete yet, and it's gorgeous, so you can watch that too. And that kind of dovetails into caring for your goals and your dreams. How many of you have dreams about your life? Great. There are people out there, did you know, that just let life happen to them? They have no idea that they're an active player in what's happening all the time. And people have said, and I know some people say, I have my goals, they're all right here. I don't write them down. However, it is proven scientifically, evidently, I'm not a scientist, I don't know this for a fact, but I've read it. Writing it down is important. Writing it down, the physical act of writing it down is important. And now they're even saying that although we've got all of this magnificent technology, pen and paper, where your brain is concerned, really rules. To really take the time to get out a piece of paper and write down, what are you going to be doing 6 months from now? What are you going to be doing a year from now? 5 years from now? Do you know in Japan they have a 100-year plan? They used to. I don't know if they still do or not, because I'm not in corporate America anymore, but the people that I worked for Ma Bell, we were always amazed that they had a 100-year plan. We had trouble coming out at my level. I'm not saying Ma Bell at the global level. Had a tough time coming out with a 5-year plan. What's your plan? What are your goals? What do you want to do in your life? Is it important for you to show up and go to work every day and come home and that's it? And maybe it is, and that's okay. However, if you want your life to shift and to change out of what it is now, you need to have goals. Because if we keep doing what we're doing, the universe is going to respond exactly as it's always responded. What you see today isn't because you thought of it today. What you see in your life today is because you gave thought, whether knowingly or unknowingly, you gave thought to how you are, to what people think of you, to what you think of yourself. And that's created your life today. And if your life is great, great, think those thoughts. However, if there's some place in your life like, ooh, I wish I had a loving relationship in my life, a partner. Ooh, I wish I had more abundance in my life. You're gonna have to change your thinking. That's what that means, change your thinking, change your life. So if you don't change your thinking, your life probably won't change. So caring about how you invest your time. That's really important. So I get back to, do you go to work every day? And I do this some days, so I'm just gonna own this. Where I go to work every day, I get up early, I start my day really early. I work till about 3 or 4. And sometimes I just wanna veg. Does anybody else have days like that? And that's okay, unless you're doing it 365 days a year. And then I would suggest, how are you investing your time? It's important. It is important on how you invest your time, because your time is precious. It's precious. And here's the deal. The older we get, the less time we have in this form. Ask somebody 20 about their time and they're like, you know, how many of you when you were 20 thought if you saw 30 it was going to be a lucky day? Yeah. Okay, not everybody. Good for you guys. But right, I never really thought about, okay, someday I'm going to be 30. Ooh, and then someday I'm going to be 40. Oh my God, someday I'm going to be 50. I celebrated with my prayer partner today because she turned 60. And then it dawned on me, oh, okay. Because I'm older than her. So, it's about investing your time, which gets to that, back to the joy thing, right? How we invest our time is gonna build on that joy factor. So really caring about how you invest your time. And here's the deal, again, I can't do that for you. Nobody can do that for you. These are things you have to care enough about yourself to do these things. Because if you don't, that's okay. Again, it's all about choice. But it's about to put attention, where you focus your attention is how your life is going to look. So caring about how you treat yourself. So when you wake up in the middle of the night because you can't sleep, are you having nice thoughts about yourself? Are you thinking, wow, you're magnificent? Normally, I don't know about you guys, when I wake up in the middle of the night, that's not the thought that's going through my head. Normally, if I wake up in the middle of the night, there is a thought from my past that some reason has decided it's going to show up in Technicolor. Maybe because I was having a dream, I don't know. And I've shared this practice with you before. However, I think it's really important to share it with you again because I was sharing it with a woman on Friday and it never dawned on her that first of all, she had not heard the term monkey mind, so she had no idea about her mind racing and being attached to everything everything she'd ever done wrong. It's the only thing she could focus on. And so I asked her if I could share something with her, and I said, you know, I used to be like that on steroids. I didn't say on steroids. It wasn't a, you know, I'm better than you. I had a worse monkey mind than you. But just, I know what you're talking about. I used to have a monkey mind. And I had a practitioner that said to me, because what I wanted to do, it was just like, that's not who I am anymore. I'm not going to pay any attention to that. I'm not going to give it any thought. And she said, Gail, there's also in our philosophy, what you resist persists. So as long as you keep going, I'm not going to think about it, you're thinking about it. Right? You're thinking about it because you're thinking about not thinking about it. And so she said, what you need to do is just grab hold of that memory, bring it right in front of you and say, yep, absolutely, I did all of that. How many of you have read Ask and It Is Given? Because this is one of her steps that she shares to do. You pull it in front of you, absolutely, that is who I was. That is what I did. And you know what? I'm not that person anymore. And then you look at it and think, ooh, now when I first started to do this, the differences between who I was and who I was then, back then, who I am and who I was, not so much. difference because I was just on the path of changing. However, now if that comes in, I'm like, wow. You're way different. I don't know why that memory came up, but it did. So just to look at it and say, thanks for showing up. I'm not sure why you're here, but okay, I'll look at you. I'll bless you. And then I surround it in white light. And I hold it in my hands and I blow it back to the universe. And then I say to the divine, if I don't have to see that memory again, I'm good with that. I get it. If there's something I need to know further about that memory, you can bring it back. But it's a way to absolutely stop beating yourself up about your past. You cannot change it. What I want you to know, if I was going to tell you something, what I want you to know, you're not that person anymore. And so beating yourself up about something that you did before doesn't do anything except create energy and keep you from your good. Because it would be nice if the funnel of the divine was, oh, here's my abundance funnel, here's my relationship funnel, and here's my I love myself funnel, and here's this funnel. And we could say, well, I got it all working except over here. It's a little scrunchy over here. Doesn't work that way. It's a huge funnel of good that wants to be given to you all the time. And when you scrunch it, by having thoughts of lack, by having thoughts of your past and something you've done, by having thoughts of whatever that keep you out of the truth of who you are, whole, complete, perfect, God-informed. Anything that, any thought, any word that you speak that isn't that, scrunches that good that the divine is ready to give to you because we're part of it. It's not even giving it to us, it's the truth of who we are. And yet when we act counter to that, then stuff shows up in this life that doesn't look good. And that's not the universe's doing necessarily. It is and it isn't. But it starts with us, right? Whatever's going on in here is manifesting out there. And so how you treat yourself is important. And when I say treat yourself, what I mean is how I think about myself. Do I have good thoughts about myself? Because here's the other thing. The next part of that is caring about how other people treat you. And if you don't like yourself, probably a lot of people aren't going to like you. Because that's an energy, correct? And so to love yourself so fully that it doesn't matter. God, I want to get to that place. That it doesn't matter when somebody doesn't like you. That you truly don't care because you know that that's about them and not about you. The freedom in that, I go back and forth, I'll be honest. Sometimes I am so solid in that, it's like, I don't care what they say. And sometimes I'm in that wavery, I don't care what they say, but I'm going to go home and cry anyway. So it's a practice. We're, I keep saying this, we're spiritual beings, but we chose to be here. And because we chose to be here, we're going to have these very human experiences. However, how we do these human experiences is really important. I posted today on Facebook, I never lose anything. I either win or I learn something. Don't think that you're losing at anything, because you're not. You're either winning or you're learning something. And one is just as important as the other, because we're all here to learn. Caring about your personal growth. Nobody is going to do that for you. I don't know why, except that when I was in a coaching session with somebody, my spiritual practice, evidently this is going to sound so weird because it sounds weird to verbalize it, was tied to my sauna. Because I did part of my spiritual practice in my sauna. And even though I wasn't doing my spiritual practice in the sauna, there was a part of me, for some reason, or it's just, what does Gibbs say, there is no coincidences, or it was just a coincidence. That sauna came down, I quit doing my spiritual practice. It has taken me almost 3 months. Not saying I didn't do, I pray with people, so I was getting stuff in, I was reading, but my spiritual practice, what feeds my soul, what makes me feel good, I wasn't doing it. And then I realized the other piece of that was I'd also made it very task-oriented. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this. And it's like, and then I'm going to eat my breakfast. It's like, spiritual practice is something that makes you feel good. So you should not, I shouldn't go into it with a doing attitude. I want to go into my spiritual practice with this feeds my soul. I want to just be with my meditation. I want to absorb what I was reading. I read a quote by Ryan Holiday, who he's the gentleman that led me to the Stoics. And he talks about reading. He said, if you're reading and you're just reading, if you're not having a conversation with the author about what does this mean, what do you mean by this? Or if it's not making you go, what? I had no idea. Then he believes, and so did the Stoics, you're not really learning anything. You're reading, and that's great, but it's not sinking in. And so when you start to read for spiritual practice, I'm going to start this. I give you the opportunity to do it also. Start to have conversations. Have a conversation with Ernest Holmes. Seriously, Ernie, that's the way it works? Question what you're reading. Ernest Holmes never said, believe what I believe. Follow me. Here's my dogma. Kiss my ring. He never said any of that. Ernest said, read what I read. And then make up your own mind, including making up your own philosophy. Take what works in what we teach. Take what works for you and do that. Because I promise what works for you will work in your life. And you'll be amazed at how your life shifts. Ooh, gotta be careful with that word. How your life shifts. So Frederick Bales, who actually wrote this book, Basic Principles of the Science of Mind, he challenges you when you read the book to say, pay attention. Pay attention to all your thoughts. Pay attention to what you're reading. Pay attention to what you're thinking. When you are alone, what thoughts are you having? Are you having thoughts of how blessed your life is? Or are you having thoughts of what's wrong in your life? Are you having thoughts of, oh, I can't wait for this? Or are you having thoughts about lack and limitation? Change your thoughts. He says, change your thoughts. 7 days, he said. 7 days. Be mindful of what you're doing and what you're saying and how you're interacting with people. Do it for 7 days. And he promises your life will shift. And so do I. Your life will shift. Now, what I have proven to myself when I really step into this, some of my subconscious junk is going to rise to the surface. And I'm going to think, is God testing me? Courtney and I laugh about this all the time. I said I want to have more patience in my life. Yeah. And now I have no patience at all. God doesn't test us, right? The universe is just saying yes. However, once I say, I'm going to be a more patient person, my subconscious mind is going to challenge the heck out of me. Because my subconscious mind would prefer, whether it works in the world or not, prefers that I stay exactly the same. Because my subconscious mind is very comfortable. It doesn't really like change. It's like I have gathered all of this information for you, Gail. I have collected it to protect you. Don't go changing the rules on me now. I got a job to do. I want you to be impatient. I want you to do this. I want you to think about that. And so that may come up. Don't give up. Send new thoughts into your subconscious mind. Tell your subconscious mind, I get it. I get it. And I love what you've done for me up until now. Here's what I want you to do now. What I want you to do now is tell me how magnificent I am. What I want you to do now is tell me I'm beautiful. What I want you to do now is show me all the abundance in the world. Create new thought patterns. You get to do that. Not that you're not going to slip up every once in a while and think, oh, I'm so stupid. I'm so clumsy. Oh my God, there's no money in my bank account. However, when you're conscious of it, you can change it just like that. And in changing it, I promise you, you're going to change your reality. That is how this works. And it's not just about, okay, well, I'm going to sit on my couch every day and just think about roses. What I promise you, if you do that, is, oh, it wouldn't be pretty, the vision I just had if I just sat on my couch forever and thought about roses. You need to engage. We have that saying, treat and what? Move your feet. You need to be engaged. They're your thoughts. Nobody's putting those thoughts in your mind. Okay, I'll caveat that a little bit. When we were little, we got to take all of that information from our parents and it got into our subconscious mind, but we're not little anymore, people. And so when that thought comes up about what some teacher said to you, or what your mom or your dad said to you, or an ex-boyfriend or an ex-husband, when those thoughts come up, or wife, or girlfriend, when those thoughts come up, you're an adult. Change it. Change the thought. Change the thought. You're not that person. You're not the same person you were yesterday. You're not going to be the same person tomorrow. And so it's all about engaging in this thing called life. And here's the thing about life. Have you ever watched any of the award shows? Somebody gets their award and they run up on stage and they give their acceptance speech and they say, everything I have ever done in my life brought me to this point, as they're holding onto their little statue. Here's the thing. Everything you've ever done in your life Everything has brought you to this point. Everything. When you look at your life, and I look at mine, and my background is a little tattered and bruised. However, when I look at it, and I look at me now, I would not be this person if that hadn't happened. Everything in your life is your life. It belongs to you. What you do with it is going to create your life going forward. And so what if you really started to care about the most important person on this planet? You. Let's pray. So I stand in this energy of the divine. And as I'm standing here, what I realize, I'm standing in this energy of the divine, and it is connected to all of you. It is that web of inclusion that we're all in. There is no place we can go, and nothing that we can do that takes us out of that God essence that is the truth of who we are. It is over us, around us, through us, as us. Every single thing is a God essence. Ernest Holmes used to say to little kids, there's not a spot that God is not. And so as we sit here today and we feel that energy, I want you to imagine for a moment the next 24 hours of your life. And I want you to imagine that you're living it as God informed. That you are that presence of unconditional love. That you allow yourself to be a presence of kindness, of self-loving and loving of others. That you really walk this planet like all the great masters before you that are walking with you right now. That you're not only one with the people you see in the physical form, you're one with everybody that's ever breathed the air that we're breathing, that's ever blessed this planet with their footsteps. You hold the same space in that form of the divine as Jesus and Buddha, Nelson Mandela, the Dalai Lama. We are all connected. And so we're connected to everyone present, past, and future. Every thought that's ever been thought is there. It's your thought. So for the next 24 hours, what would it look like in your life if you truly just were kind to everyone, everything, including yourself? That would be a world that works for everyone. And so I bless this. I bless this day. I bless this community. I bless the divine who constantly is saying yes. Because I know as it says yes to me, it's saying yes to all things everywhere. And so I, in my heart, create a world that is kind, that is loving, and that is blessed by the presence of all people everywhere. I release these words into the law, knowing that as I do so, the universe hears it, acts upon it, and manifests it into a reality that I create. So I say, thank you, God. And together we say, and so it is. Please welcome back to the stage, Second Shot.
So we're going to feature Frank because he should be. He has wonderful abilities. Go ahead.
Thank you.